So parseInt essentially converts our numbered string. Remember, it's not just string, it's numbered string into numbers. Okay, any question here? And we'll see the same example with parseFloat. So the same example, just that we'll change some. No, we don't change anything, we'll just see. Okay, I'm just taking this again here, and this, instead of int, I'll say float. Float 13. No, 13. It will take 13. It will neglect the 0.5 part. Okay, remember parseInt, whatever you do, it only gives the integer part. It's not rounding, it's not scaling, it's not flooring, it does nothing except that it only takes an integer part. Remember the integer part, when I'm stressing integer part, that means it neglects the decimal parts too. Okay, now here I have given parseFloat. Okay, so what I do is here let's see. Okay, so I close this now. Okay, you see here, this is parseInt, this is parseFloat. Now you can see here 13.2. We have got the floating part too. Now what I do is, like, I'll just change this to 14.45 students. Okay, and 0.12 students. Okay, and 10.33. Okay, I just change array. Let's see what happens. Now see here, still it takes 10. Okay, it takes 0, it neglects 0.12, it neglects 0.20, it neglects 0.45. But when we come to parseFloat, you see here, everything is a floating number here. Okay, so you got it, right? Fine. Now there is one more function in this miscellaneous, which is useful. I don't say not completely neglected. It's used very in rare times. Because it started with a string. For parseInt and parseFloat to work, it has to start with a number. The string has to start with a number. If it starts with a string, with a character or whatever, it neglects it and it assumes it to be a string. Okay, remember this. This is a very important part. If you go for int, people will ask you, like, no, what does this do? Okay, it's the same question. They'll exactly ask you the same. Okay. Fine. The next function in this is the last one in global. There are so many, but only I'm considering only the important ones here. Okay. So isNaN. What does this do? Any idea? Perfect. You can answer. isNaN. So I'll tell you what NaN is. You have seen NaN right here. NaN. Not set. It's not that. NaN stands for not a number. Not a number. Okay. NaN stands for not a number. That's the reason it says not a number, because it's not a number. It's a string. So now isNaN is used to check whether if the given variable is a string or a number. Not just string, it only checks for number. If it's not a number, it's true. If it's a number, it's false. For instance, I'll tell. Let's take an example. Let me close this. So let's take an example. Let's take the array itself. Okay, one more array. So var test equal to new array. Okay, an array of, let's say, 10, 10a, 10.33 and 5, like such. Now here I'll come to the down. I'm sorry, I'm coming to the bottom. Seriously, I don't know why I speak that. So yeah, again here I'll take length. I can use variable any length equal to, let's say, test dot length. For again I equal to 0, I plus plus. Okay, here what I check is if not of isNaN, not of our test of I. Okay, then document dot write, or sorry, print test of I. So what does it mean? Is not a number is false. Okay, that means is a number. Okay, then I'll say else print test of I is not a number. Let's take some more values here. Let's say true. This is a boolean. Okay, let's see what does it do. So I'm just doing some formatting over there, so this looks better.